So in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how I get my acrylic crystal clear when using glitter. I've just checked my client's nails to see if there was any lifting. She had a breakage on her index finger, and then I've gone in with pushing back her cuticles. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my e-file and I'm going to start removing the bulk of the previous design. So these are her natural nails, so I file it right back to the clear layer. Just making sure I remove any slight lifting as I go. And once I'm happy with how that's looking, I'm then going to go in with my cuticle e-file bit. And I'm just going to start separating that cuticle area from the nail plate. If you're not e-file trained or not cuticle prep trained with your e-file, then please seek training. And once I've done that, I'm going to go in with the Rachel Wilder's cuticle nippers. These are amazing and super sharp. They cut through it nicely without any tugging or anything like that. They just slice through it. I'm just removing that dead skin off each of those nails. Once I've done that, I'm going to go in with my 180 grit file and I'm going to start shaping and prepping the natural nail. Making sure I've got that shape back in. My client likes a stiletto shape but more rounded off at the tip. And just making sure that we've prepped all that natural nail, ready for the new product to go on. And once I've done all that, I'm then going to go in with the Rachel Wilder's dehydrator. Once I've done the dehydrator, I'm then going to go in with that primer. Making sure I don't touch the skin. And then I'm using the Rachel Wilder's Clear Candy. And I'm just going to create a clear layer to start with. So I've drained the back of my bead and I'm just placing a thin layer on each of these nails. So this is going to be our base to give us something to file back to. And then I'm using the Rachel Wilder's Truffle Core Powder to create a French smile line on the ring finger and the middle finger. So again, I'm draining the back of that bead. I'm making sure I'm working fairly dry because I want to stay in control of that bead while I create my shape. And I'm patting and placing that product where I want it and bringing it back into the centre of the nail, making sure that I've got a nice curved finish. And I do that again on the middle nail as well. And whilst that's setting, I'm then going in with New York, which is a gorgeous black colour. Again, I'm working quite dry because this is a very pigmented colour. I don't want it to flood the cuticle area, and I want to make sure that I keep control. And once I'm happy with how that cuticle area is looking, I'm then bringing the rest of that product forward towards the free edge. And then I place another small bead on that free edge, just making sure that I've got enough coverage. And I'm going to do the same on the index finger and thumb. Again, just patting and prodding that product until I'm happy with how we're sitting. Being careful not to touch the skin. Then I'm going to go in with Rachel Wilder's Emerald Glitz. This is a gorgeous green glitter, but it's got lovely flecks of gold running through it. I've just placed that at the cuticle area, and then I'm bringing the excess down towards the free edge, so it's going to look like a glitter ombre. And then on the index finger, I'm going to go the opposite direction, so I'm placing it at the free edge, making sure I've got enough coverage on that free edge, and then I'm feathering it back towards the cuticle area, removing excess product that I don't need. And whilst that's setting, I'm then going to file my smile lines, making sure they're nice and crisp, making sure that my other fingers are out of, or my client's other fingers are out of the way so they don't get covered in dust. And then I'm going to take that New York and I'm just going to butt that product up to that smile line, making sure it really goes nicely into those corners. Patting and teasing that all the way up. Then blending the excess down towards that free edge. And then I'm going straight into that Emerald Glitz. Placing it on the free edge and feathering it up towards that smile line. So now the key to a clean, clear finish with your acrylic is making sure that your monomer is fresh and it's not contaminated by any other products, and making sure that you use your bead a medium wet, so not too dry but not wet that it's running everywhere. And then as it starts to set up, just running my brush over that product to make sure it's nice and smooth, that there's no air bubbles in there. And making sure I've got enough product that is covering that glitter. Now when you're capping a nail, you're looking for that glitter to go like a matte, so it's not sparkling. And then you know you've got enough product on there to be able to file into without filing all your glitter out. So I'm placing my bead at the cuticle area and I'm slowly walking that product down that nail, making sure I've got my structure in place. So now I'm taking my 150 grit file and I'm just filing in the shape of those nails, just at the free edge to start with, and I do all the nails the same. Then I'm going to go in with my fine E-file bit, and I'm just going to start filing down the bulk of that smile line, getting that to come through nice and crisp. And once I've removed the majority of that bulk, I'm then going to switch back to my hand file. So now I'm going back in with that 150 grit file, and now I'm going to file the surface of the nail, making sure I've not got no lumps and bumps and that I've got the nice structure, or the correct structure, in place. And as I'm filing the nails, I always run my finger over the nail just to make sure that there's no lumps and bumps, because you will feel them before you see them. So I always stop and check and look to make sure that I'm getting the correct structure. And I do this for all the nails. My routine is always the same. And now I'm going to get my buffer, and I start on the 100 grit side. And once I'm happy with how the nail is looking, I then flip it over and use the 180 grit side, making sure that I've removed all the surface scratches out of that nail. And again, I do this to all the nails.